Did you know Nintendo just released a game called Pikmin 4?
What? A fourth one?
It's actually not even the fourth one, because we gotta count Hey Pikmin
yeah.
and Pikmin Bloom. And new Control Pikmin 1 and new Control Pikmin 2. And Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
You know what? I think it's really funny because Pikmin fans are like pretending to be the most starved people in the universe. Where it's like, they're kind of like the stranded individuals of Pikmin 4. You know, when Olimar crashes on the planet in the first game, that is the Pikmin fan base. They're like, but it's not real. Like they're still home. Like
but
they're
still
time
limit.
But they're feeling like, oh no, oh no, we never get treated to anything. And
I love that we start this by just shots fired at the Pikmin.
No, really, yeah, but we're fans too.
The thing with Pikmin, as with many other games like Shiburobo, is that like if any other company had done them, that would be like when Treasure makes one weird fucking PS2 game and no one's heard about it, and like two people played it and like, this is amazing, why no one heard about this? And that's just like what Pikmin is. But Miyamoto's like, oh, it's gotta be a big thing.
So the thing is that what I was gonna say though is that like Pikmin is probably one of the most well-serviced Nintendo franchises that doesn't do particularly well.
Pampered for little good reason, actually.
Like really pampered, and I think that's like I think people have lost perspective a little bit, because I just looked at it and I realized that every single Pikmin game,
yeah,
like if we're talking about like Pikmin 1 and 2 has been available for every single Nintendo system that has ever been released, all the way from the GameCube to the Switch.
Yeah, consoles, main consoles.
Yes,
like
main
TV
consoles.
Connected
yes,
ones.
TV connected ones. So it's been out on the GameCube. 1 and 2 has been out on GameCube. They have been out on Wii.
Yeah, the conversion.
They were re-released on the Wii U. Downloadable.
The Wii version, yeah.
Yeah,
the
exactly. And then they have been re-released on the Switch. And we have gotten a sequel. Like, sure, we jumped over the Wii, but for, I think, several reasons. But then you got a sequel on the Switch, on the Wii U. And then you got another one on the 3DS. And then you get another one. Like,
it is more consistent than Star Fox since...
Yeah.
First
for
released,
sure.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
Also, for that matter, I don't think that a franchise that is being like left in the dust necessarily gets a spin-off. That is just like, you know, here's one of them.
Pikmin Bloom.
Yes.
That one surprised me when I first did it, because I'm like, Pikmin? Seriously?
A
Pikmin?
walking boy
like,
Pokemon
this
Go
is the
thing?
next step from Pokemon Go, like Pikmin Go.
Yeah. No, but so the whole point basically is just that I don't think that this franchise is as starved as some people want to make it out to be, because like the fact that we have a Pikmin 4 now and that this franchise has been going for a really long time, and it's one of those games that get re-released all the time. Like, there are so many...
They really want this to be a big thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's just Miyamoto. Like, seriously, that's probably one of the things where, like, if Miyamoto was not around for this, if he retired, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now we have Pikmin 4. Pikmin 1 and 2 has been re-released. And Pikmin 3 is also on the Switch.
Yeah.
The whole series is on this system, except for Hey Pikmin.
Saga.
Yeah. They should re-release. Hey Pikmin though.
You do like you turn the system on its side.
Yeah.
to do the verticality.
Sure. Why not?
Maybe.
Anyway, Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4.
Just released like 2 weeks ago.
I think it's more actually. I think it's closer to a month.
We were
now.
surprised because we supposed to make this.
We didn't have time to start making. We didn't have time to start playing it at first. You got it in the mail like too late, of course, as it always happens. Like, oh, it's on a weekend. Comes after the weekend.
Yeah. But then we were working on the outro video. So we really put it on the side. We were good girls.
Yeah. For like 2 days, and then we started playing.
No, actually, I think it was like a week we let it just
But we haven't played it like full time. Some games, like the new Zelda, when that came out, I really stopped everything is played at all day and night to have it done, because I knew that like it's gonna take too long. I never anticipated Pikmin 4 to be as long as it is. So this took longer than we anticipated. We had said before that probably gonna make a review of Pikmin 4 when that comes out. Well,
here it is.
It's not the super new, but that's good. That means a lot of people have played it, so maybe they will click on it. But they didn't really with the Zelda video. A lot of people probably like, oh, there's spoilers.
Spoilers.
we can say now we're not gonna talk spoilers until like we signal it.
Although
it's a Pikmin game. I don't
look,
like.
Either way, if you go into this, I'm gonna say this. If you go into this review, quotation marks, if you go into this fucking video game discussion, free-form video game discussion, and you walk into what you would consider to be a spoiler, then maybe you should reconsider.
Like, yeah, that's on you. It's always on you.
It's always on you.
So
be aware that we might talk about some things that you would consider a spoiler. Just be aware.
So basically, I think also some of you probably clicked on this video because something happened like 8 days ago.
Yeah, a week ago.
Yeah, last weekend. So we we played this game, and we had played it for a bit then. Like we were some bits in.
And Kiki drank a few Manitou seltzers.
Some Alchemahol seltzers, yeah. We had accidentally bought seltzers, and the seltzers are boring.
They're
Seltzers
really bad.
Suck. So for those who don't know, that's basically like sparkling water with alcohol. It's just like fuck. Oh,
it's funny because
and you didn't want them, and I was like, but I paid money for this shit, so I just gotta drink it. So I just drank that stuff. So I then started getting a bit tipsy. Angry at Pikmin and complaining about it a little bit. I remember we said somewhere during the playthrough, I was like criticizing Pikmin that like, you know how Pikmin never has any real puzzles? They like sometimes have the veneer of like, oh, this might be a puzzle, but it's not. It's just like, oh, but just do the thing.
Oh, you throw your Pikmin on a thing and then it goes down a little bit. Oh, cool.
So after we finish playing, I then get on Twitter and I write this. All right, I'm half drunk. I wasn't. I was drunk. So take this with a grain of salt. At least I was like, I knew that
you were at least aware enough.
Yeah. Let's take this with a grain of salt. But Pikmin 4 is like the most Nintendo-ass game we've seen in years. A defanged, polished monstrosity, far removed from its revered origins. A saccharine slop, barely hiding its mindless mobile game structure. Checklist core. That was the first tweet, and it's a picture of a red Pikmin, real zoomed in on the face, like, oh shit.
And then it continues.
Then I continue. This is like pure Wii-era garbage callback. You are a million side characters. You have a million side characters who never shut up, rewarding you with bobbins for gathering the splango and telling you 20 hours in that red Pikmin are fire resistant. McDonald's game design. McDonald's game design. Sega would never. After an evening of this drivel, I long for a proper game experience, like a shower after a full shift in the salt mines. And then in the morning, I respond again. Quote, half drunk, Lamau.
Anyway.
And then after that...
No, you don't need to read the rest.
It's the last one. Last one. After writing this post, I cried in bed about the demise of Sega and Namco before having 2 separate nightmares about it getting 2K plus replies. Going back to sleep now.
Yeah.
I then locked the thread because like I realized people are gonna fucking find this and be angry at me.
Yeah, someone is gonna find it and be like, no. So, like you said, take this with a grain of salt, but there is some truth to it.
Yeah, this radicalized you.
No, not at all. Like, the thing is that the problem with your whole post was, first of all, that, okay, so I just need to tell you this. When Kiki gets drunk, she has a very particular way of being, because I can just see it, especially if you're not drunk yourself. You're like looking at her and she's like, no, I'm not drunk, you know. And but it's so obvious because her demeanor changes so drastically. And she's just like, she's writing on her phone really rapidly. Like, you're seeing her like wow, like she's firing posts, and I'm like, what are you writing? And she's like, she's not telling me. And then afterwards, she's like, here's the thing that I wrote. And I'm like, that sounds a bit harsh and aggressive. And you're like, and I ask, like, why did you post it on our account without asking me first? Because that's kind of a thing we do, you know? We have an account together, so maybe sometimes it's best to not, like, poke the hornet's nest. And then she's like, I didn't tell you because I knew you would say that I shouldn't post it. And I'm like, see? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, she would never do that otherwise. And then I'm like, and then she gets, like, really upset, like, sad about me. Like, she's like, oh, you're so angry with me for doing this. And I'm like, but you knew. And I wasn't even angry. Like, that's the point. And she's just like, oh, no. And yeah, that's basically it. So it's... But I, like, I still agree with you. And the point is that I think maybe it's a bit too aggressive, because the point here is Pikmin 4 is really good. You know, it's one of those games where...
It's a polished game.
Yeah, it's like, this is the thing. It's really polished.
Expansive game.
It's really polished. It's expansive. There's a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
Many challenges.
Busy
a lot of
work
things
off the
to...
wazoo.
Yeah, like, all of that stuff.
It is more of everything.
It's more of everything. Like, I think Miyamoto and the guy said basically like, oh, there's more in this game than all of the Pikmin games combined, or something like that. Some bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but also, I kind of don't want that.
It is making me a little bit concerned, because this is the second big Nintendo game this year where,
that
like,
goes
my
that route.
big takeaway is, this is too much.
Yeah. And, like, I get the point, because, like, Pikmin 4 is really modern. Like, if we're talking about Pikmin 4 from the perspective of the rest of the series, Pikmin 4 is a really modern game. It has... The edges are smoothed out. It's really polished. There is not much to complain about, really. It almost feels a bit... It almost feels a bit silly, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, to complain about it, it feels like you're being really
Less macaroni.
Yeah, it's almost like you're being really unappreciative of what they did here, because it's a really good game, and you acknowledge that, and still you're a bit like, because like I said, one of the things that I think Pikmin 4. And maybe we should just start with what I think Pikmin 4 does well and so on. Because it's like... like I said, one of the things that I think is really good that they have done with the Pikmin series recently... They even did it with Deluxe and Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Where they're starting to move more towards inviting more players.
Yes.
And while doing that, of course, there are some things that have to be sacrificed and so on. I think the new... camera is really neat, because you can put it all the way up like
it's
the previous
compromise.
Pikmin
You can
games.
do it both ways.
Yeah, and then you can also look up and you can see more of the world, which is really cool, because it kind of puts a more emphasis on your control, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to help a lot of people to actually get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it sounds like that's the only good stuff.
I like Ochi.
Ochi's a really good
Ochi's a cute
audition,
character who has, like, the idea of having basically a big special Pikmin.
Yeah, a big
who
special
does a little
boy.
bit more different stuff from the other ones is a good idea.
I think it's almost like one of those. You know how every game since 2 has had a companion, but all of them are basically just the same.
Yeah. So
This is
having
like-
one that's
yeah,
different.
having one that's
Although
different.
I kind of feel like they should have
Emphasize
a bit more like the splitting up of it. Like it's like the game never really wants to split up. So sometimes during some of those Dandori time challenges,
You forget about it.
No, but like you had to kind of like fill around to scramble to have Ochi go somewhere
Yeah.
and take some Pikmins. Maybe like it felt clumsy because there was not
The fucking
something
holes.
there was not something you had done that much. So it wasn't so natural like all
Yeah.
the other bits.
Like, yeah, it's a good character thing. I think he's really good. I like that you can upgrade him.
Yeah.
I think that's cool, especially when he gets really powerful. Like me personally, I don't care about Pikmin being challenging or hard or anything like that. Actually, I like when my Pikmin games just kind of like when my Pikmin just fucking kills everything. I think that's fine.
Yeah,
It's perfectly fine, especially if what we're talking about specifically is like the fodder enemies.
Yes.
If you charge with Ochi into a big Bulborb, then I'm fine with it just dying instantly.
the Bulbarbs are jokes now anyway.
Yeah,
They're nothing.
exactly. So it doesn't really matter in the long run. Like I think it's still like
Yeah.
it's really enjoyable to still explore.
Yeah.
I think it's especially great when you're on the overworld and you're collecting everything and you're trying to get as many things as possible during one day. That's still super fun. Like I love that stuff.
On that subject of like the difficulty thing, and I think we made the game a bit too easy for ourselves to begin with because we are two people and like just straight out of the gate we use the co-op mode and we realize the co-op mode is broken as all hell. So we're not gonna criticize this game for being too easy or something because we know
No.
we cheese the shit out of this game because we like it took us 30 hours anyway, so we were like fuck, like we don't want to spend even more time on it.
Yeah.
So like we know that. However, that was like the first thing when we saw this game. When we revealed it, we were like, please have the Pikmin 3 Deluxe co-op mode. Please, please, please. Because the Pikmin 3 co-op mode, which is basically just two characters.
players, yeah.
You do exactly the same thing, but you're multitasking. It's like how Pikmin was made to be played. Because funny fact, every Pikmin game I played with someone else.
Yeah.
No, wait, the first time I played Pikmin 1, I was alone. But then I played it immediately after with a friend. I just had him play. And I was like backseats commenting. And that's so fun. That's like how Pikmin is works. You're two people and you're like shouting and yelling like, no, God, no, fuck, good, no.
Yeah.
That's funny. So Pikmin 3 having like you do it.
Yeah.
It's great.
An actual co-op mode.
Yeah, but
I
then
like that.
in Pikmin 4, they go Super Mario Galaxy baby mode and have, but you can have a little pointer. The thing though, is that they never clearly gave not a single shit
About the
the
balancing,
balancing.
And I
So,
appreciate that, actually.
what you have is the player 2 is a crosshair on screen with an infinite amount of pebbles.
Yeah, you just
Throw
throwing
at
rocks.
everything. And when you throw at things, they get damaged.
You
You know,
can do
you
so
can
much.
damage gates, you can damage like environmental hazards, you can damage enemies and bosses, and they take damage. You can wail on shit in the background while the player 1 is doing something else.
So if you're really clever and you want to speedrun this game 2-player, I think it's going to be really fun because if you angle the
Yeah.
camera just correctly while the main player is doing something else, like we fucked over
we
so
got
many
really
things.
good at just cheesing this game to shreds. Also,
And it's-
every time you hit something with a pebble, a little meter for player 2 goes up, and it goes up very easily.
Yeah.
And every time it fills, it gives you something like pick big
item.
carrots to
Distract
distract enemies, or most usable. Like the sap for the Pikmin, so you can always keep them fully charged with flowers. But best of all, bombs. Just a shit ton of bombs. You can throw at everything and anything. You can just fuck up everything.
I actually don't think the bombs are the best. I think the lightning bolt is the best one.
Lightning bolt is also really good.
That just stuns all the enemies on screen.
And playing 2-player mode for a little while, you'll just have a big user supply of all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just
and it's funny because everything. I would still say, I think the co-op mode is fun.
It is fun. And that's because
if you're playing with a friend,
then
if you're playing with a friend or a loved one, then the co-op mode is fun because fucking up these creatures, it is just a good time.
It empowers both players in their own unique way, so both players can do stuff the other one can't, which is fun. It is fun to do it. It's just that like I still prefer the Pikmin 3 one because that's like I
would have preferred that.
I feel like the Pikmin 4 co-op is fun in a way that like maybe breaking a game is fun.
Yeah.
In an unintended way.
Basically.
Yeah.
I would say though, playing it single player as well, it is still like the fact that they added a bunch of items that you can pick up. Now you can hold the bombs, you can hold the lightning bolt thing that makes all the enemies stunned. You can have ice bombs. You can have so many things on you at all times that I would say that even if you didn't play with a co-op partner, you can cheese this game so much.
The first thing you do, okay, you power up Ochi to do his fully powered charge move.
Yeah.
Then you can destroy
because that
anything.
stuns enemies as well.
Yeah, stuns and hurts them a ridiculous amount. And also power up his carrying ability. So he can carry for 100 Pikmin at once.
Yeah.
No more problems with anything.
Exactly.
In fact, I wonder if you can, like, beat this game with only Ochi.
Probably.
Maybe you can.
You can probably beat it with just Ochi. But the thing is,
not a challenge for me.
I think, like you said, like there are a lot of things that are just making it a bit more friendly. I think, like for example, you have a rewind feature that basically pushes you back. So if a big mistake happens, you can basically jump 1 minute back in time.
I've seen some criticisms of this, and I'm a bit confused about it because the first Pikmin game had that.
Yeah, but it's
it
more
had
like
reload the day thing.
You go back the day, of course.
I always took it as this is an intended way of playing it. For me, playing Pikmin 1, it was very common for me to like go to a new place and not really knowing what I'm doing. I was going in, seeing what's there, finding out what fucks me up, and just kind of fumbling about, messing around, not doing well, and then I'm like, now I know what to do, and I pause and reload the day, and then I do it correctly.
No.
And that was how I played that a lot. It felt natural to me in Pikmin 2, doing the caves. Oh, you fuck up. Well, reload. Then you have to reset the GameCube, but you can do that. And it felt intentional.
Although, I would say this is a lot friendlier, of course.
Yes.
It is an easier version of that thing. Yeah. Like resetting your GameCube or restarting the day in Pikmin 1. Like, it's still not as friendly as this one. And I think it's fine. Like, if you're trying to entice a new audience, because clearly Pikmin has always been a bit intimidating. The first one, because it has a time limit. And then in 2, probably because it's still a bit intimidating because it's a weird game about controlling 100 creatures. That sounds hard. Sounds really annoying. And also like the camera controls and all that stuff. Like you kind of have to smooth out all of these edges to make it appeal to a wider audience. And I guess we'll see if Pikmin 4 succeeds. But I think it's still...
Pikmin was basically made to utilize every fucking button on the controller.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I just have to ask you a question now. I know the answer to this, but like to kind of contextualize our view on this. What is your favorite Pikmin game?
Hey Pikmin, of course. No. But I think it's still Pikmin 1.
Yes.
Like going through it, like when I played Pikmin 1 way back when. And it was mostly like, I had tricked myself basically into believing that I thought it was stressful with the timer. So it was like, no. And then I played 2, of course, and that solidified that idea even more, where I was like, oh, this is the best one. This is so good,
Yes.
right? But then later, when I played these games, like, again, much later on the Wii U, actually, I was like, no, you know what? Pikmin 1 is a lot better. Like, it's just the best one. It's such a good game. I think that's a, what should I call it? Like a distilled version of a really, really good idea.
Yeah, it's a
you know
strong
what I mean?
concept that's handled with respect, I think. I think the brevity is good there. I think that's great.
It's
and your least favorite?
I'm just gonna say before that, Pikmin 1, I think, like, the distilled part of it, like, how it's just the purest version of Pikmin. That's what I'm talking about. And that's the one thing that has come back to me a lot when it comes to a lot of games these days.
Yes.
Where I'm like, the first one, through its simplicity and all that stuff, it just shines through,
That was the premise of the outro video almost.
Yeah,
where we only talk
but
about
like
the first
that's
outro.
just the thing that happens. Like, for example, Crash Bandicoot, the Spyro the Dragon. I'm like, the other ones, yeah, they're more, but I think through their simplicity and the purest version of themselves, I think the originals just outshine them.
There's always something that happens when you take the same game and you try to add on top of it.
Iterate and all that stuff, and it's fine. They're all good games.
So
but
your least favorite Pikmin
my
game?
least favorite game was the one that was my favorite before, Pikmin 2.
Yes.
Because when I replayed that one, I was like, this is still good.
Yeah, to reiterate, no Pikmin game is bad.
No, absolutely
but
not.
like when I love Pikmin 1 so much, a lot of the stuff in Pikmin 2, I wrote once that Pikmin 2 is Pikmin for people who don't like Pikmin.
It's really mean. But also, I think, for me personally, the thing that I don't really vibe with that well with that game is the split focus, where the overworld feels really kind of like an afterthought. It's not really about the overworld anymore.
Almost like a formality.
Yeah, almost like a formality. That's the overworld is the transport point to get to the real gameplay, which is the caves.
And even if they intended the balance to be more split,
50-50, but it's not.
It's like the Sonic Unleashed problem, where like the daytime stages are exhilarating, cool spectacles, and like you're really like pumped up and like and then it's an equal amount of nighttime stages where Sonic is really slow and has to stop and do stuff and do like listen to the Incredibles themes a million times.
Like,
and,
the difference is
the difference is 30 minutes.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like, even if the rare hog stages are fun, like, even if you think that they're fun, I think it's still like,
it's an uneven focus.
Yeah, it's an uneven focus, and I think that's the problem with 2 for me personally, because I don't really like, the caves are fine, but I'm not, they're so disjointed and disconnected. Like, I think the bite-sized challenges in Pikmin are fine. I like the challenge modes. I like all of that stuff. But when it's in the game itself, I'm like, man.
And to the degree where it's excessive, like it takes over, that is the main game.
Yeah, it is the main game. And I like being above ground, where we have these naturalistic places where you find things. Oh, there's a thing that I know from real life. We see small pots and maybe something just lying around.
Pikmin 1 even had a cave level, so I don't even think that's
a
problem. I used to
no,
think,
it's not the caves
it's
themselves.
It's like the randomized levels and everything that's kind of weak.
It's just the little mazes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't know.
We share the same opinion here. We are on the exact same opinion. So this fuels into how Pikmin 4, if Pikmin 4 is reverent of any Pikmin game, it's Pikmin 2.
Yeah.
And the moment we saw a trailer that showed caves, we were like, uh-oh.
Oh no. And it's like, Oh, like it's so hard. Like it feels so mean in a sense because like
I don't want to
like
hate
I
on
said,
it for that reason, but
it's almost,
to me it's just like it's one of those Pikmin games.
like the thing is also that I think almost that it's a bit weird because I still think that Pikmin 4 has a lot better overworld stuff going on and a lot more of it
It
than
has
Pikmin
that.
2 had.
It has more levels than any Pikmin game ever.
Yeah.
It has 6 levels.
6
in total.
levels.
That's a spoiler, I guess, but you know, whatever.
But that's fine. Don't worry about it.
The old ones had like 3 or 4.
Yeah, but the thing is that like they're also bigger.
Yeah.
There's more stuff in them.
There are
like
caves.
we're talking like in these levels there are some hazards that you have to fix, like control, like the
Yeah.
little water spring. Fuck, I'm hitting this thing all the time. I'm sorry, everyone. Fuck my fucking shit. So there's these water sprinklers that you have to turn off and all that stuff. Like there's stuff going on here.
Yeah.
And I think there's enough here for those levels to be. I think it's a bit more even, at least to begin with, where it feels like, oh, we're on the overworld and then we do the caves and whatever, right? But it's like the caves are also shorter this time around. I feel like
I
they
think
are.
so, but that might also be because they're easier.
Yeah, maybe.
So you just don't spend as much time being very careful.
Maybe.
One cheesing thing you can do in 2 is, of course, just abandon your Pikmin and go and karate chop every enemy yourself. And that takes time, but it's safer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
Or just use the purple Pikmin and just.
But I think that
everything
like
up.
so from the get-go, this game was not really geared towards my interest. And the thing with me, like my big criticism of Pikmin 2 is that Pikmin 2 and 4 by proxy, I think 4 goes even deeper into this, falls into a really tantalizing trap that every single fucking person who plays Pikmin 1 thinks. They all do this. I did too. Everyone does this. They play this game, a short little nice time, you know, like it's an evening of
The first
playing or
Pikmin,
something.
yeah.
You play that thing, 3 levels, you're done. You might even have collected everything, and you say to yourself, that was a bit short. Surprisingly short. There's a good idea here for a real proper game. A full game.
Feels like a concept.
Yeah.
Like a.
And then they did that. They went over the board. They fucking crammed this. They pumped this shit full of content. They used like, okay, 30 ship parts, fuck you, 200. Like, they used go and used like fill this up to the brim. And you look at that monstrosity, and you're like, fuck. And I think the dichotomy is that some people look at that and go, oh god, oh my god, oh, I have to eat that? And some people are like, feed me.
Feed me up.
And that's just like, we're never gonna agree. We're never gonna agree.
Probably not. And it's fine. It's not a huge problem, really. But it's more like, for example, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, in this particular case. I like that game partly because of how it goes away from Pikmin 2.
Yes.
And it instead is more like Pikmin 1 in a lot of sense, in many ways. And I think one of them is the focus on the overworld.
Yeah.
I love when we're focusing on the overworld because it's fun, it's cohesive. Like, I think that's really funny about Pikmin though, because like people love the caves and all that stuff, but people often talk about when we're talking about like video games and such, the real impact they often talk about is like how cohesive it is. You know how it immerses you in a world and all that
People
stuff.
love Metroidvania games.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like they're just, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Look at Woohoo Island. It's like a place.
We're not talking about Woohoo
No,
Island.
but it's like a place, right?
Yeah.
It's like a place. Wow.
You
but
play
then-
Mario Kart 64
But
and
then
see
you go
Peach's
down
Castle.
in the caves, and it's like you go from regular cave to Toddler's Wonderland.
And then you go to a sewer.
Yeah, and it's like...
Or like a filthy bathroom or something.
And like, it's fine. It's a video game. Who fucking gives a shit?
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is more like, I just enjoy when we have these big overworlds and I can explore them, and I don't have to like separate these two places, like Pikmin 2 and 4 do. Like the specific thing where you feel like the game is divided into two pieces. Like, that's
two pieces that don't really interconnect that much.
No.
They don't really. They're not on speaking terms.
No, and it kind of just annoys me in a way, because I don't really care about the whole fact that you can be suddenly in an aquarium in Pikmin 4. I think that's fun and cool.
Yeah.
That's
Don't matter.
just fun to me. And then you're in a playroom and whatever. It's fine. I think that's fun. But the problem is that I think these two parts of Pikmin, and now a third one, the Dandori battles, now suddenly there are like so many divided parts, because the overworld, I think, feels really holistic. You know, this is a place, here's what we're doing. I have a lot of fun over there. But then there's the obligation parts that are divided into other pieces, which is the Dandori battles and the caves. And they're completely disconnected from the rest of the game. Like, they're nothing
You
like
hop
that.
into a little pipe and go to an ethereal, otherworldly realm where nothing has real bearing on the world. The thing that I get into so much with this shit is that the first Pikmin was a really focused time
management
thing.
game, yeah.
It had the main feature of Pikmin 1 is that this is a time-based game. You have 30 days, and every day has a set time limit. Things like 12 or 30 minutes, don't matter.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with that. You have to manage that stuff. You need to be efficient, and you need to do stuff, and you can't just meander.
Yeah.
It's a game that has that as a challenge, as like a flavor.
All Pikmin games are about resources.
Resource management, yeah.
Exactly. But the Pikmin 1 in particular, one of the resources that it really
It has the fourth dimension, time.
Yeah, time, exactly.
But in every subsequent game, they realize that, oh shit, people find that intimidating. So they try to meander and they try to mitigate it in strange ways. My biggest gripe with Pikmin 4 is that in Pikmin 4, they have a time limit on the levels. Like, you have a set time limit for the day. But
you also have the night stages.
Yeah, the night stages, which kind of just ruin everything, because they show that nights aren't really that.
No, but it's not even that. It's that
they
they're
broke
separated.
a 20-year-old mystery. You were always like, oh shit, the night's gotta be ruthless on this planet. And then you play them, it's just like...
No one just stayed during the night.
What I was gonna say is that there is a time limit for the levels, but there is no time limit for the game.
Yeah.
It counts days, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
So you can go in on a day and you kind of do whatever, and then you just leave. Like, everything takes time in Pikmin. That's the thing. Like, from the first game, breaking a wall, defeating an enemy, carrying stuff, like walking around takes time. You need to manage that. The Dandori battles play into that. They really, really hone you in on that. Like Dandori. Manage this shit well, and you will do good. It's like a tutorial for something that never happens in the main game.
Yeah.
It is like training you for Pikmin 1, I think, or speed running maybe.
Yeah.
And the funny part is that so you do that. You're they're like, oh, you have such a strict time limit. You got to do everything. And you're like, shit, this is so stressful. And how should you gonna do that? And then you go back into the overworld, and you're like, I can kill 2 Bulbmin and just relax, whatever, who gives a shit? Nothing matters. The time is pointless. Why even have a time limit now?
I don't
Seriously, why is there a time limit in Pikmin now when it doesn't matter? I think if they're gonna go this path, be adamant. Fuck it.
Just be on the...
Just take away the time limit.
Yeah.
You don't need it anymore. You don't care about it. You haven't cared about it since Pikmin 1.
No,
Get rid of it.
Chill. Just a little bit. Okay, so yeah, I agree with you. If they make another one, then they should just make it a day and night cycle. Like, why not? And then it can still count days. Like, how long have you been on the planet? Because, like, if you think about it, we have separated once again another part of the game, which is the night stages. But why couldn't that just be, like, a night and day cycle for the entire game, where you're just, like, you know, in the place, and during the night it gets a bit harder, and maybe you can collect something else during those nights, right? And it just goes like that, instead of you just going back to the place all the time. Like, I don't know.
Silly.
I
think it's trying to adhere to a sort of Pikmin essence that's just traditional. You gotta have it.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't really
And it's like, you know,
embrace it.
when you go down to the caves, time still moves a little
at
bit.
the sixth of the time.
Yeah, the sixth of the time. But it doesn't matter because the day can't end while you're in the cave.
Yeah.
So when you go up, that's when the timer starts counting down. And it's still like you don't have any Pikmin out at that point anyway. So who cares? It's
the
like
fact that it does that, by the way, we can exploit that as well, because you can day's ending, hop into a cave, do the cave, then you rush to another cave and do that as well, because it had the timer stuff. Time doesn't mean anything, you know?
Yeah. And I think, like, for example, we've talked about this before, and we haven't replayed Pikmin 3 Deluxe since it came out. We should, though.
We should.
But the thing is with that game, I think, is that even if the days didn't matter in that one either,
No.
I think the generous amount of use that you get, even on the super spicy mode or whatever it's called, ultra spicy mode, I think it's called. No matter the amount of, like, you get so much of that stuff from every fucking fruit.
So for those who don't know, you have a resource limit in Pikmin 3. You gotta get use from fruits. So every day your crew drinks use because they need to survive. So you need to gather use and you stay atop of the food requirement.
Exactly.
But it's very, very forgiving.
Yeah.
So you will basically never be in trouble.
No. At least if you're good at the game. I would imagine that if you're not good at the game, then it might pose a bit more of a problem.
Yeah.
But, like, I think at least that game was attempting to give you the feeling of a limit. And I think I appreciate that a lot more personally, like giving the vibe of being in a pressing situation, right?
I think my take on the Pikmin 3 use stuff is that you are a trio of characters who are going to this planet to mitigate a food shortage on their planet.
Yeah.
They are gathering so much food that having that as a resource in the game that is quickly, like, made pointless. In this case, it has narrative purpose. Like, it's a game mechanic that tells you something.
Look,
it
we have so much
immediately
food.
shows that, yes, your food shortage will be fixed because this
It's amazing.
is a lot of it. You know how much they need and you know how much they have.
And I think it's, like, the point anyway, I think, is that that game at least had a premise that is pointing towards the first game, right?
Yes.
And I still think that maybe in the ultra spicy mode and such, you should probably have been able to, like, spruce that up even more to make the use that you get become a lot less and that you drink more.
Maybe it
every
does,
night.
I don't know.
It does do that, I think, but I mean, you should be able to control that more
Yeah, maybe.
to make it even
even
more challenging if you want to.
Yeah.
But, like, I still think, like, the premise itself is doing a lot of heavy lifting to make it feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And, like, I like the part where all your use gets stolen at one point, because that feels, even if you before didn't have any challenge before,
It's a crisis.
I think that part feels a bit like a crisis. You're like, oh shit, now we gotta get some more.
It's a narrative conveyance thing. You know?
And sure, you get back stuff really fast, but it's still like, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Pikmin 4.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So, do you want to talk about the night stages? I think that tells you everything. Because the funny part about the night stages is that...
We skip them.
Yeah, basically. There are night stages. You go into a night expedition and you have little, like, luminescent ghost Pikmin.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do a tower defense with a little mound of poop. And like, the days or the nights are, like...
super
short and like the whole tower defense mechanic, you're never overwhelmed. Maybe because we did the co-op thing, I'm not sure. But basically you're doing that to get glow sap to heal the Dandori possessed leaflings, and until you heal them they lie on the ground on the base. And the funny part is that very quickly we're like, the night stages fucking suck, and we never played them, so we just had a big pile of just bodies on the base. And then we're like, oh no, we gotta have to play them. So we sat down and like, let's just play all of them. And we did. We just played all of them, and we're like, oh, God. Like towards the end there was like one stage that like, oh, a little bit of shell. Oh, okay.
No, you know, because the thing is that I don't necessarily think that the most fun part of Pikmin is the battles.
No,
especially
I've never
not
felt
when it's
Pikmin
just like,
is about the battles,
no,
really.
Especially not when it's just like regular battles, because like, you know, the bosses are usually fun. Like in the first game when you first meet a Snagret, that feels like
yeah, that is striking.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Sticks out in my head. The Snagrets stick out in my head as a big, scary, intimidating enemy, and in every game since they're a joke. Yeah, they're smaller and they have little feet. I like the idea when they were like bird plants. That's fucked up. That's like a really alien thing. You're like, oh God, I don't even want to know about this. But now they're like, oh, they're burrowing little birds. It's just like, oh fuck, that's cute. Like, I don't want the Snaggers to be cute. I want them to be disgusting.
Little snake bird things. Disgusting fucking. If they came up from the ground and they had a snake body, then I would be fine with it. Like if it was just like they slithering around, they're like really fast, and they were like going around. Maybe they could like snatch up the Pikmin, you know, make a little ring so you can't escape the thing. Oh, and it goes.
You know what? A snake boss in a Pikmin game. That's a
would
good
be
idea.
Cool. Yeah, a little snakeling, a little snookler. They're called. Anyway, the point. The night stages are not very. I don't think they're very fun. Yeah. The thing is that like it doesn't. I don't think it's because of the co-op stuff. I think it's more so just because. Once again, it feels like
half-baked.
but also it feels like a distraction.
Yes.
Like from the.
I feel a lot of like, this game...
Because every time we started the game, we wanted to go back, we wanted to explore the overworld, and then it's always like they're lying here at the side and like taunting us in a sense, where it's like, but I don't want to do that. I want to go here. It feels like an obligation that you have to do.
But
except
like, the thing with this game, like it has so many different like
moving parts
that like they don't really... So you playing the game, you're having a pile of leaflings at the base, you're like, fuck that. You go around an overworld and they're like, oh no, not a cave. And then like sometimes it's, oh no, a Dandori battle, and like, oh fuck, oh no.
You know, that's the thing about it, because at one point, like when we're getting to the, I think the fourth level, that's at the point where we've played it for quite a long time, and then we're just like, every time we come to a cave or a Dandori battle, we're like leaving them.
Yeah, we're not even entering them.
No, we're take that last. Yeah. We'll do that last thing because we want to explore the overworld. Like that's what we want to do.
That was the most fun part, yeah.
Yeah, and like that's just what we did with all the leaflings as well, where we were like, we'll do that later. Yeah. Because that's not the fun part, at least not for me.
No.
Like, all of it is fine. Like,
I can see the Dandori battles feel kind of fun.
So look,
the Dandori challenges, not the battles. The battles kind of suck.
Yeah, but like the Dory challenges are fun. We had some good times with it. We had to restart a few times on them because you need to coordinate a lot, and like they're fun.
I think the Dandori challenges are perhaps my favorite part in one way, where like
They challenge you.
when I go into them intentionally, it's fun. I'm ready for it. But when you're in the overworld and you're kind of doing something else, it's like, do I want to, like, it's really, because, like,
it feels like an interruption.
If I'm playing Pikmin 2, and all of a sudden, Alicia's like, middle of it, let's play Pikmin 1, I will be like, can we do one thing at a time, please?
But yeah, it feels like an interruption in what you're doing.
It
right?
is.
And by the end of it, like when you've played we played this game for 30 hours plus.
Yes.
And like when
we
you
got
get
everything.
Yeah, but when
every
you get
treasure.
when you get to the end, things are like, it's really starting to feel like, yeah, get on with it.
Yeah.
Or like, man, why do I have to do this thing? Like when you're revealed, like it kind of just keeps going. Kind of just like,
this is the Pikmin game that never fucking ends, and like we haven't even finished it. There's like an extra challenge towards the end. You have to do like, and after that there's another extra challenge I've heard, and it's like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm like, no, I don't have fucking time. I don't want to do it. You're too much Pikmin.
Too much Pikmin.
Like, why are you doing this? Why are you making me despise Pikmin?
And we don't even. Like,
we don't even really despise it.
That's the hard part, because it's like, I like this game a lot. I think it's really good. It's Pikmin goodness, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the good stuff. It's like, yeah, I like Pikmin. I enjoy Pikmin. But there's just so much surrounding Pikmin... it where I'm like, one of the issues I think I have also is like, it's the thing with diminishing returns, where because Pikmin doesn't really change at all. Like, even if they have changed and smoothed some things out, I still think that one of the coolest things about the first Pikmin game, and even the second one to some degree, is when you meet a creature and you're like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. What the fuck is that? And you're like, no, I'm not doing it. Fuck you. And you're going the other way, right? Yeah. That's the fun part. Like when you first meet the fucking...
nope moments.
You know when you meet the fucking translucent blob with the fucking wheels?
Yeah.
In Pikmin 2, you're like, no, it just falls down, and you're like, what the fuck? And
that's a good scene. Yeah.
And you're like you're in a little box, basically. Like, you can't escape it. You're like, what the fuck is this? Fuck this guy.
Pikmin 3 was the master of that with its final boss.
Yes, the final boss
that was
in
like
Pikmin 3 was
the ultimate
great.
Pikmin, oh fuck off, no moment.
The Plasm Wraith.
That's
name
great.
Too.
That's fucking amazing.
That game also has, first of all, that game also has a lot of cool bosses that they put a lot of emphasis on, like the little hummingbird bee thing.
The shmup boss.
Yeah, like fuck. There's so many cool things in that, nice. and like. I still think, at this point in time, I think Pikmin 4 is probably putting a bit too much emphasis on its past. In the sense that I don't get the same amount of what the fuck is that moment.
There were a few new guys, but mostly it's like, it's a poison bulb.
Yeah, but basically, and it's not like, I don't get the feeling like there is like a little scorpion guy, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't get the what the fuck is that moment. Yeah. And then you repeat a bunch of things, especially from Pikmin 2. Yeah. That basically just makes
the big water rolling guy reappears in this game. You're like, oh, there he is again.
Yeah, but two times.
Wait, I'm gonna get to that. You do that, and you're like, okay. And then you get to the end, they're like, I gotta get the purple Pikmin. Like, same deal, same exact thing. You're like, I already played Pikmin 2. It's not really a surprise anymore. And then you do that.
The game is even the same.
Yeah. cave is even the same.
Like,
and then
they repeated it, and that's fine. You're
because we
reusing
went
assets,
down that cave, and I said immediately, "Oh, it's gonna be the roller guy," and then he appeared, and he's like, "Oh, there you go."
Oh, the roller guy.
You
Yeah.
could see on the makeup of the cave.
Yeah.
But basically, towards the end, I mean, it's not even a spoiler. Who gives a shit? This guy appears again, 2 of them, and you're like, I have purple Pikmin with me. Fuck you. Like, this is like a big enemy.
Yeah.
And you're like, really took away the menacing threat of this guy. Like, he has become unspecial. They were really like, hey, remember this guy? Let's just have him a couple times there.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like Pikmin 4, I think I can bet your ass that they put more emphasis on other things this time around. Like especially probably a lot of the camera stuff, the levels in and of themselves, because they're so big and have a lot of moving.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. Like, but you of course have to sacrifice something in the end of that, and I think one of those things is probably a lot of new enemies and bosses, because like when you go down a cave and at the end of it is just one of those big yellow and green frogs. It's just a big one, and you're like, okay, okay. And you charge into him, and he's dead in 2 seconds.
I think another part of his Pikmin 2 or 4. Freudian slip. I is fucking called Pikmin 4, Pikmin 2. There we go. But Pikmin 4 has like a formality thing where it says, okay, the new Pikmin this game is Ice Pikmin, I guess, Glow Pikmin. And then you have all the other Pikmin as well.
Yeah.
Everyone's. This is Smash Bros. Ultimate of Pikmin games, apparently.
Everyone's here.
Like, you have the blue Pikmin, the red Pikmin, the yellow Pikmin, the white Pikmin, the purple Pikmin, the fly Pikmins, then the rock boys, and the ice boys now, and the glow Pikmin. And, like, they don't have the Bulbmin. Or maybe they do, I don't fucking know. This game never fucking ends.
They
but, like,
should have.
Probably. They're probably in this game. But, like, that's 9 types. And I can tell you this. There was no fucking time in the game where I felt, oh, I gotta have some more poison Pikmin.
No.
Like, it's excessive. There's too much. They're like types that have no fucking bearing. You don't care about them. You're like never like, oh, a rock Pikmin, how useful. You're like,
you know what?
They're in this. Okay.
I think partly also that I think it was pretty good that Pikmin 3 limited the amount of Pikmin, like that they didn't actually go with the white and purple ones, because it's like, yeah, maybe focus on the new ones, let them shine and have their own little challenges,
because you can't give space to everyone equally. I guess you, like, if you're a real Pikmin pro brain lord, you can probably be like, oh, but actually having a team comprised of only poison Pikmin is a really good one because they're so fast. It's a speedrun strat. Don't you play every game?
I don't care
like
about speedrunning. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
The only thing I care about is Spyro speedruns, and it's
Dandori.
and it doesn't actually change my thoughts about it.
White Pikmin are really
but
good.
You see,
for
like, this is just a bunch of complaints, which is funny.
It is funny. You know what?
But I just have so much to say about it from that perspective, because it's just kind of.
It is overbearing. It is drunk Kiki. This game is drunk Kiki. It's something old and familiar that you love very much, but they're getting a bit too much now. They're getting a bit too close.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I think that the fact that there is so much, you know, it's like there's much of new things, but also, just to continue on the creatures thing, like, I want that what the fuck is this moment, to the point where I actually think that they should just get rid of all the creatures and just make new ones.
Olimar goes to New Planet, he brings Pikmin seeds with him. There you go.
And I understand that would take more time, obviously. But I'm actually fine with that. I would love to have a planet where there are no Bulborbs.
I think they can do a Pikmin 1 size game like that.
Yeah, but the people wouldn't be fine with that, because now we've gone to Pikmin 4 that is 30 hours long, over 30 hours. Like, we can never go back. That's the problem here. Like, honestly,
Pandora's box has been opened.
Yeah, Pandora's box has been opened, so we can never go back to probably, and like the creatures are too iconic at this point that people would be upset if they're not back. But me personally, I would actually be more happy with a new experience.
Yeah, I never got
completely
the
different
sense of, you know, curiosity and like slight disgust and like antsy, like, oh god, what the fuck is this? Like I got in Pikmin 1.
And 2.
For the record, I first played Pikmin 1 in 2016 when I was like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
So like,
it's not nostalgia.
It's not nostalgia. I played them like over the last few years, and so like, of course I played Pikmin 1 first, and that's like the most fresh experience. If I played Pikmin 3 first, that probably would have been that game for me. That's just the thing, and this Pikmin 4 will, by the sales numbers, be that experience for the most people, probably, maybe.
Probably.
And that's the thing, like, maybe that's just what Pikmin has to get over. It has to get over the fact that no one plays Pikmin games until finally they do, and then they can try to recapture that experience when there is a demand for it. But I don't think, sadly, there is a demand for it anymore, because at this point they're just trying to make people even play Pikmin. So that's why they do, like, what if we throw everything in this one?
Yeah.
And
what if it was all of them?
Worked. It seems that worked.
What if it was all of them?
All of them at the same time. But like, if we want to talk about something you do like in this game, like, it's just something you like with Pikmin 4. I like the logo. Okay, I'm gonna go on this little tirade. I see people really complaining about the old logo. The old logo sucked. the fucking, like, a million fucking flowers and leaves. It's like, it looks ugly. Like,
okay,
excessive graphic design. The new one is clean and nice. I like it.
I personally, I like the castaways. I think that's a really fun thing. I think that they could probably get rid of the treasures.
They could have had the castaway instead, yeah.
Yeah, like, not that the treasures aren't fun, but I think that those also have a bit of a problem where a lot of them just repeat.
Same joke. Merciless extractor, the same.
And the citrus lump, of course. First, when we saw that, I was like, oh, look, it's the citrus lump, and lo and behold, and like, that was the same in 3, of course, too. Yeah. But it's like, man, these are all different fucking alien guys, but they all have a hive mind, apparently.
Yeah, they do.
And you know, when you collect your, like, fucking 20th rubber duck, then maybe it's like, damn, what if they put some, like, really interesting treasure? Like, I told you yesterday that I think this third one, for example, I think it's good that it had a theme. Yeah. You know, where it's only all fruits. It's all fruit. And some people complain about that because it's just
it's not very exciting because you know fruit. You already know what fruit's gonna be in it.
Yeah, and it's like the fruit from the second game and whatnot.
No one is gonna be hyped like, oh my god, banana is in this. No, they're not gonna do that. You know?
But the thing is that I think one thing they could have done is, like, make it a theme. For example, I told you yesterday, what if they're collecting scrap for some reason?
Yeah, they could do a bunch of metal stuff. In fact, you could even have a thing where, like, parts of old Pikmin games that had metal in it that no one cared about in those games because it's not really useful. There were, like, tin cans and stuff. Yeah. Maybe you could go back there and, like, now you're like, oh, this is really useful.
Pick up that
this
stuff.
This is a big treasure.
Or maybe, like I said, like a circuit board. Like, there's a lot of stuff you could do with that is still akin to the treasures, but it would be different. And I also told you, what if they're miners, for example?
Then the case would have another purpose.
Yeah, and then you go down and on this planet, of course, there's you could pick up sapphires, different kind of rocks, like these funny, you know, what are they called? These fucking with the spiky purple
stalagmites?
Yeah, whatever. Like, all of this funny thing, this stuff. And I don't know. I think this game could have had more focus on the castaways.
Because what I noticed with the castaways in comparison to the treasures, we stopped caring about the treasures. The treasures have the little descriptions. We did a funny, like, oh, this is the funny voice I read with the guy reading the treasure. I read him like this. But, like, we got tired of that. What we always read, though, was the descriptions of the castaways. We always found it really interesting.
Yeah, because they're fun.
So that, like, for me, that was, like, that was a novelty. That was a neat thing. That was what I was interested in finding.
Yeah.
So I from my perspective, I think they could have had that as the main collectible.
The main collectible,
no problem.
The thing too is, like, I think the castaways are really fun because, first of all, Captain Olimar gets fucked on this planet and he sends out a distress signal. He's like, please help me, I'm dying. He's just like, please. And then everyone, all of these people who are not at all, they're not competent, they're not at all ready for this experience.
From all walks of life.
Yeah, from all walks of life.
For some reason or another, they need to go here.
They go to this planet. The only ones who were certified to do this were the rescue corps.
Yeah, you begin the game and you're like, you gotta find those guys. And you think that's the main quest. You're like, oh, there's gonna be like, those are the big milestones, landmarks for the game that like, oh, every time you find us, one gonna be important. And then very quickly like, you're not supposed to be here. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, and I think that's really funny because, like, it's also like, if you think about it from the perspective of these fucking games, it's like Olimar sends out the distress signal and no one cared about that in particular. They're so selfish.
Yeah.
Like, they're all like, oh no, you know what? We're gonna make a TV show over here.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm gonna fucking put up real estate here.
The real estate. There was a fucking venture capitalist. Yeah. And it says, like, I love that there's venture a Pikmin game that has the word venture capitalist in it. Like, what the fuck?
And then there's the fucking the school teacher who goes with 4 of her fucking on a school trip, and it says, like, that's fun. I love that stuff. Yeah. And talking to them is really funny.
There's a streamer as well.
Yeah, there's a streamer looking for content, and I just think that's amazing stuff. That's
good humor.
Funny. That's funny. Really
also,
good.
Like, there are too many of them, and I think that gets funny. I think, like, that
there are so many of them.
I've seen people criticize that a bit. That like, oh, kind of, they stop meaning something because that's the point. I think it's funny when your landing site becomes a town square. It's like, might as well just start living here, I guess.
Yeah, it would have been funny if they built up small little huts and stuff. Yeah. I think they should have done that. You know, added small, like, so it becomes a little town. Yeah. And you see, like, little houses and stuff. Maybe they are, like, just, like, provisional houses, you know, stuff that they kind of, like...
I suppose...
You know, you have small, like, little pod houses where you're, like, boom, and they just jump up.
I suppose there would be the problem. They couldn't really colonize this planet because the air is toxic.
Yeah, but no, that's not the part. I mean, more like they're living here for like 50 days or something. Yeah. Like, maybe they need somewhere to fucking live, and that is not the spaceship.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I like that.
I like that part. I also like that you make your own character.
Yes, that is. We haven't talked about that. Like, basically, because I made one that looked like myself in the beginning.
And then we made it look even more like
you were like, maybe this isn't looking enough. But we did that once, and then we kind of forgot about it. But I see the point, because you have done Olimar, and then you did Olimar and Louie and Choo-Choo. And then you had Brittany, Alf, and Big Guy. What's the Big Guy?
I don't remember.
No matter. The third guy. Like, every game since Pikmin 1 has had multiple characters, and I think that's kind of a neat thing. But like, I really, like, I never anticipated it, because when they revealed that you can do your own character, which is it's not really a big deal anyway. It's like, you kind of do it and you forget about it. But I think that's natural. I think it's a good thing.
It's
because it allows you to
be a bit more personal.
Yeah, be a bit more personal.
Because the thing is, I think that came probably from the fact that, first of all, you're a rookie. You're a newcomer.
Everyone else is talking at you anyway.
Yeah. And then, on top of that, of course, we have Ochi. Because Ochi is a dog.
Yeah.
And like, what is better than to have your character, be attached to Ochi?
Yeah.
Because like, that wouldn't probably work as well necessarily if it was a different character. I think it's probably that's why they chose to make a character of your own, these two parts.
I guess it was like they probably had an idea for the dog first, to be like the two characters set up in this game is a player character and a dog, and I guess they very quickly realized that they don't want to do Olimar again. They want to have more representation stuff. And the third game had like, oh, there's 2 guys and a girl.
And now you can be Annie.
Now you can be black.
Yeah, good.
Can have a lot of different body shapes. You can be old, you can be young, you can be basically anyone. And I think that's the best solution to get around that. It's very clear also that the characters in the encampment have been made with the character creator, I'm pretty sure. I think some of the main crew are probably a bit more
they have
specific.
some special parts.
The captain, does he have some like
bandana thing?
Bandana thing, yeah. I don't think you can have that on your character.
Marco.
Oh yeah, the voices are really funny. She always says Marco, and Colin is my favorite, the comms guy, because he's a good guy. He's very diligent. He does the most, and he's like, Ale, pussy, and he says pussy. It's like, what do you do? Nintendo, you know what this gonna sound like.
Look how you say it.
It's gonna sound like he says pussy. What do you mean?
I love it.
I love it so
I think it's good. I think all of them are really funny.
Colin is also really funny because he looks like a ventriloquist doll for no good reason.
Yeah, but he's nice. I like him. I like all of them. Those guys.
They have a very funny way of talking, all of them. It was really easy to do fun voices for them.
Yeah. Ale. But still though, Marco.
I love that so much. It's really funny. I also love that the Olimar's dog, Moss, is a little bit of an asshole. Like squinty eyes, he's being like, oh, fucking despise you, piece of shit.
She's really big too. She's a big dog.
A big dog. Moss is good.
Big dog.
I love the dog theme of this game. It's very, very understated, but it's there. I think it's funny because like that's the one thing this game has that's unique to it. That it is the Pikmin 4 thing. The dogs.
I like when Ochi learns a bunch of things. Where it's like, for example, when Ochi learned how to swallow things, like put these giant fucking pumpkins in his mouth and just walk away with them, like whoop, and then it's gone, and it's like just walking
pocket
away.
Space,
very good
like
stuff.
A hamster.
Like I love that stuff.
That's really funny.
I still think it's very nice to have all the Pikmin together on Ochi's ass. You know, it's like there are small things, I think. For example, you know, this is also one of those things that make the game a bit easier, because before you had clumps of Pikmin behind you,
big troops,
and now you can put them on Ochi's back instead.
Yeah, it's simplified, but like it.
And it's nice. It's nice sometimes because, like, when you can, for example, just go through water with all of them, and of course, I think when they sit on his ass, they sing a bunch of songs like they usually do, and that's just nice. You know, Pikmin is nice. Pikmin are always nice games, and I think they're always cozy.
Yeah, I think my main gripe with Pikmin 4 is that, as I said in my drunk tweet, it is a declawed thing, defanged. It is very much appealing to a sense of like, busy work.
To the masses.
Not really that. It's more like it's very like uncommitted. It's kind of like trying to appease everyone, so it appeases no one. For me, it will appease people. Obviously, I know that. I've seen that. It will appease most people. Probably.
I actually think that it's gonna appease so many people that our perspective is gonna be so drowned out that it's like it's fine.
It's over.
Don't worry about it. We're fine.
Pikmin 5 is gonna be the worst one. Anyway. So, but I have this balance, but where it's also like I don't care. A lot of the time, like, I don't really care. Like, I've never had a big horse in a Pikmin race. Like, I'm not a big Pikmin fan. I don't really care. It's just that I think
you're a big Pikmin fan.
Pikmin 1, maybe.
You mean maybe in the grand scheme of things, where you compare to other Pikmin fans.
I will play new Pikmin games. Yeah. Let's leave it at that. But
you never had a Wii U, and
no, I played them very late, so I think maybe the novelty is stronger with me. Like, if I've been playing this for 20 years, maybe I would be a bit cold on them. I don't know, but to me, it's like I don't really care. However, there's a disappointment still, because to me, Pikmin is one thing, and I see that like it doesn't really go in that direction. I'm over it. It doesn't matter. It's just when I'm drunk, I'm upset about Sega and Namco for some reason.
Yeah.
Pikmin is not a good game to play.
You're very emotional when you get drunk.
Yeah.
That's why I tell her to not do it that much.
but basically, it's just Pikmin 4. It's a good game. It has a lot of things I could see some people get upset about that I don't really care. I don't care. It's just, to me, like, it's not for me. And I
mean,
I'm
it
open
is for
about
you,
that.
but it's also...
Yeah, but it's not like if they made a Pikmin game for me, they wouldn't make this.
No.
Let's leave it at that. I'm fine with it. It's don't worry about it. Like, Transparency doesn't hate this game. We just like
Let's be transparent about it.
unfortunately fall into criticism, and we don't really want to do that. But that's just what happens, and I think that's...
I mean, negativity more than anything else.
I think that's all we have to say about it from the non-spoiler part. So maybe this is a good time. Do you have anything more to say before we get into that?
I don't think so, because we could put all of that other stuff in the spoiler thing too.
Yeah,
I don't
so
even know what else to say.
I know exactly what to say with the spoiler stuff. So, like, this is the... If you've gone halfway through the game, you've seen the credits.
Wait. When you hear the Pikmin dying, that's when the spoilers start.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you have beaten a certain stage, certain point, kind of mark where it is, but now we don't have that, so mystery. Anyway, the spoiler stuff. Let's talk about the lore.
You mean where this game fits?
Because this goes straight from what I said before. I do not give a fucking shit if Olimar had been on the Pikmin planet or not. He always goes here. He always crashes. Where does Hey Pikmin fit in the timeline? I don't give a shit. So, Alicia, please, go off.
Okay, so I've seen some Pikmin fans have tried to, like, decipher where to put this game, and I would never expect people to be like go on about Pikmin in the same way that they talk about, like, the Zelda timeline, because I really... Like, one thing I've learned from Nintendo during all these years is that they don't really make games that way, usually. They make a game first, and then the story comes out of that, right? Like, you make the mechanics and all that stuff, and then the story comes out of it. And in this case, it's basically the same thing. They wanted Olimar to be here and all that stuff, and it maybe didn't make all that much sense. So, from the perspective of this game, it more or less presents itself like taking place somewhere at some point. And yeah,
that's the best way to put it.
No, but like that's basically it. And it's still, because it still references all the other Pikmin games, including 3. And it's like, it's not very clear where it fits in. And that doesn't really matter to me.
It contradicts itself at some
yeah,
points as well.
it does. And it's like, it doesn't really matter, because obviously they made this game to be a fun little game that you play.
Yeah.
And then the story came out of that. And it just happens to be a story about Olimar crashing for the first time on this planet. And basically, and in the dolphin for the first time, basically. Yeah. And then... For some reason, Louis is here too, because he was sent to look for Olimar. So basically, Pikmin 1 and 2 is happening right here at the same time. And then they're referencing Pikmin 3, but in the sense that it's going to happen in the future.
They also reference, like, Pikmin 2 maybe happening in the future.
Yes, which is really strange.
But Olimar kind of mentions that, like, I had a run-in with a comet once in the Crashland. Funny thing about that. And it's just like...
Yeah, so it's like...
How does this fit?
No, so it doesn't make any sense at all.
I find it really funny. There's an interview a guy from Nintendo did, an answer to that, where he said that, like, we don't really know how they fit together. We think the fans will just have to come up with something themselves. I think Nintendo have realized that the fans will always do that stuff.
Speculate.
So let's just throw them a little monkey wrench. Let's just mess with this stuff. Let's contradict ourselves. Let's make them discuss, because that creates buzz.
Yeah, discussion and,
so they did it with
the
Zelda.
discourse.
I even think they did it with Super Mario Odyssey by having New Donk City because people were getting into like Mario lore of like the Donkey Kong stuff. Like, oh, that's that Mario's dad, and I think they threw in the Donkey Kong New Donk City stuff there.
Like, I just think that, of course, like, it doesn't really matter in the sense of where Pikmin takes place because, like, come on, but it's like, I still think it's a bit funny to have all of the games basically being in one. And like, here it is. It's almost like a retelling of the first one, but also a bit of the second one.
It's a legend of Pikmin.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even
the
know.
Reincarnation theory.
It was really funny though, when I told you, where basically at one point in the game, Louis appears. And I told you, I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
So I was from the very beginning. Louis is responsible. That motherfucker is gonna come up here and he's gonna be the reason for all of this fucking shit. He's such an asshole.
So halfway through the game, you rescue Captain Olimar. That's the big mission of this game. Find Captain Olimar. So you rescue him.
Yeah, and you leave.
And you leave. The credits roll and you're like, yeah. But then they're like, oh wait, fucking Ochi's dying. Because he's not on the Pikmin
before that,
planet.
in the credits, you see a Louis on the planet with Moss.
Yeah.
And it's like, you fucking bastard. You fucking asshole. You leave that fucking dog alone, you fucking pissant.
Yeah, so you go back to the planet, you need to find a cure for Ochi, and you find out that there's more areas, more levels, 2 more levels.
Yeah.
To find and discover and explore with more caves, more fucking shit,
more Dory.
Garbage.
Yeah. And a lot of it is just repeats, which is once again like I just think
Pikmin greatest hits.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit sad when you go from the fucking like go to the places and it's like, oh, it's that treasure. They're already got.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I'm fine with them reusing assets and all that stuff. It's fine. It's not a problem. But it's like, maybe you didn't have to make that much stuff.
A recurring thing with this game is, it's not a problem, but why?
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
I don't want to be petty, but come on. But yeah, so you have more levels then, and Louis appears. Like, he is even more fucked up than ever before. Louis has always been unsettling, creepy, strange. You're like, what the fuck is his deal?
He's a little freak.
I think Louis is probably going too much. I think, like, I find Nintendo a bit, like, I don't really know what his deal is. I can't get a good read on him. I don't find him funny. I just kind of find him creepy.
Yeah.
In a like a not good way. In a like a way where like, why hasn't Olimar killed this guy?
Nintendo clearly likes him because he's always back and he's always up to something bad, right? He's like in the like I think if Nintendo had a chance, and I'm kind of surprised in a sense that they didn't do this in Pikmin 4, that Louis would be the reason that Olimar crash landed on the planet in the first
game. He bumps into a meteor in space. That's the one that hits Olimar. Yeah. They would do that. In fact, we give you that idea, Nintendo. Use it. Next Pikmin game, just imply it in some way.
I think that would be super funny. And like, I guess, yeah, Louis is a little freak asshole.
Yeah.
Like but he always comes back. He wasn't in Hey Pikmin though.
Thank goodness.
Thank fuck. But like, I love Louis, but I also hate Louis because he's
we
such
love
a
to hate Louis.
Yeah, because he doesn't make any sense. Like you have no idea what the deal is with this guy. He's like
his hunger is desperate.
Yeah,
I think that's his character. He's just like, I just want to be left alone. I don't care about anything else but eating food. I just want to eat stuff, and he eats weird stuff.
And he calls all of the creatures on the planet snacks.
And things.
Like, he eats them all.
Yeah.
He just eats them.
He has a weird grandma or something.
Yeah, who fed him bugs when he was a kid.
Because she found it funny or something.
I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It was something in the second game where
although,
she just
like, my gauge on
Olimar.
Hokutate is that everyone on Hokutate is fucked up.
Probably.
Like, Olimar, in the first game, he's kind of like an asshole as well, but I think he goes through a character arc and, like, learns to be...
He becomes humbled by
Humbled.
Yeah.
And I think, like, really like especially in 2 and 3, you can really gauge that he's just like, I hate my people so much. I wish I could just live with a Pikmin.
Yeah. So he goes back to whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, at some point, like, the game stops throwing new things at you.
Yeah.
And the new thing they throw at you is the final cave. Which is such a...
20 floors!
First of all, so the other caves are like maximum, maybe 6 levels.
Yeah.
Or something. And then, like, you get to this one, and it's 20 levels long.
It's a boss rush.
And it's a boss rush, basically. But I would say, what really surprised me about that one is that the difficulty curve feels, to me at least, a bit wonky.
Yeah.
Because, like, everything else, even now, we're like we said, most of the time we play this game was in co-op. So that's from the perspective you have to understand our perspective from.
Yeah.
I just found it...
We never had real trouble, but yeah.
No, but if you're playing, like, on your own, I think the last part might be kind of hard compared to the other ones.
I think that's why they do the credits halfway thing also, because
But I don't know.
it's deflecting a lot of
but there's
criticism.
so much.
Because you can't say the game is too long. The credits roll halfway through. If you're satisfied, stop playing, asshole. Like, Nintendo really is like, oh, I got a one upper hand here, you know.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly
it's just
what you mean.
that I think for some reason, like, you have 2 more levels after the credits roll, right? And then still, the last cave is just, like, relentless. Like I said, there are 2 of the blob guys with the rolling pins that attack you at the same time. And we have, like, 3 Bulborb kings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else is there? There's the big fucking blob guy from the first game who has appeared before, but this time they just fucking die if they go into him. Because he appears, but he appears several times in this game, and those ones are just like
all of a sudden it's a really
you just charge them and then they die.
Dangerous one.
Yeah.
But
what
it kind
else
of goes
is there?
all over the
There's a
place.
lot of fucking. There are 3 Snagrets.
Yeah, the guys who have the socket in their face that they throw a Pikmin in, so they throw rocks.
the big what are they called?
I don't know.
Skullbagge. Beetle. Yeah, the big beetle, and there's a bunch of like guys around him that also throws boulders. And then there's the guy with the eyes from Pikmin 2.
Yeah.
The little crawfish guy that you need to throw. And there's also a lot of other crawfish around him.
Their ordering is kind of strange.
And then there's a big Bulborb that pushes down the sand so there comes water everywhere.
Big Bulborb.
And the guy, the fucking metal spider guy who shoots a machine gun in the water.
There's a lot of that shit where it's like, oh my god.
There's so much. And
that's when we were like, it's so nice to have the co-op mode. Because you were like, I'm standing behind the wall, you shoot at him until he dies. And he's like, of course I am doing that. Fuck him.
No, but also, I'm just gonna say though, like for a single player person, I think this one might be like such a steep... because I can still see I've played these games a lot, like by myself, and just seeing this, like I'm just getting the feeling like, damn, if you're not using the items to cheese this stuff, then these battles might be pretty hard.
They probably are, yeah.
Yeah, and then you like, I think though that it's worth getting to the end because the final boss is actually pretty good.
It is absolutely.
It's one of the only ones that is choreographed.
It's not like a Pikmin boss. No, it is like a regular game boss.
Wait, it's more like a Pikmin 3 boss.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, because they do a lot of stuff. Yeah,
but it goes through the faces and like oh, I gotta hit his weak point.
But like, I'm just gonna say this. I would have loved to have more of that in this game at the end of at the end of a game.
You get into that thing like, hey, this is pretty nice. At least there was something at the end.
Yeah. Like, I just think
a big, scary, real dog.
Yeah, a real big dog.
And that's something that we talked about with the Snake before, that, like, I think maybe the direction Pikmin could go in is to have more, you know, like, bigger animals.
Yeah.
More scary, like, mammals and stuff.
Just put them together, like, make
Reptiles.
some weird creature.
Creatures that are too big for you.
Yeah.
that you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this.
Also, get rid of the fucking spiders that go on the 4 legs, you know? That just like... Those big
They also
guys.
threw them in a
Just
couple
fucking...
too much.
Yeah, just throw them away. They're done. They've been here since the first one. Throw them away.
Yeah.
They're done. Like,
It was only unsettling in the first game with this weird pre-rendered body thing.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just gonna say... that one. I like the disco ball boss.
That's a fun
but that
one.
was so early.
Yeah, you kind of forget about it.
Yeah. And like, honestly, like I said before, bringing back the bosses from the first and second game, specifically the second one, I could just be playing Pikmin 2, guys. It's on the console.
They released it
I have it.
1 month before.
But dude,
yeah.
I have this available to me on every single Nintendo fucking home console.
That's one of the things that I never really got with Pikmin 4. That it really feels like they're trying to
So
go
reverent
like
of the second
replacing the first games and being like, oh, this is for a new audience who hasn't played those. At the same time
But
as
why
they're
are you
selling
bringing
them and
back
trying to
these
get people
fucking
to buy
enemies
them. Like
then?
I don't. It really you really get the feeling that they made Pikmin 4, and then somewhere along the way, Nintendo, some higher up in Nintendo, like, we should probably release Pikmin 1 and 2, and they're just like, oh, then this kind of doesn't make sense anymore.
No, because, you know, the machine gun shooting guy, the machine gun spider, was a cool boss. Like, the second game has a lot of cool bosses. Like, they added a lot of enemies in that game. Like, just
I
went
hate the
boss.
machine gun.
No,
guy.
but yeah, but they made a lot of them, right? But then, like, in the fourth one now, it's just those guys again.
It's
It's not special.
You know what Pikmin 4 is? Pikmin 4 is when a band does a greatest hits album with
greatest
2 new songs on it for no good reason. You're like, oh, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just like, oh, it's the beetle that throws rocks, and then they do all of them again at the end, and it's like, dude, we already did this. What do you mean? Like, I'm not
Pikmin 4
reverent of this
loves
stuff.
copy paste.
No, but honestly, it loves the fucking Pikmin 2 so much that it's fucking rim jobbing it so hard. Like, it's just like fucking licking its ass so much. It's insane. Like, I don't even know what to say because I'm like looking at it and it's like, oh, it's that guy. But like I said before, I want the game to have the what the fuck is that moment.
Yeah.
But this one is just like, oh, it's the fucking machine gun guy. Fuck. Oh, I don't want to battle the machine gun.
excessiveness of this game, really, like, it has too many moments where you're like, oh no. And you're like, oh, this again. And like, didn't we already do this? And I think maybe the epitome of that is the Olimar side stuff. And you're like, oh, they're doing like a Pikmin 1 thing in this game. And then going to the same levels, like, it's kind of fun, and we haven't. That's the one thing we haven't finished. But like, I'm spent. It's over. Nintendo, I can't deal with this. I don't care anymore. I don't have the fucking stones for this shit. Please.
Literally. You don't have the balls for it.
I don't want to. I don't get why you put Pikmin 1 in. Like, the thing I like. I hate that. That I'm like, this is the thing I want in it. But it's like, oh fuck. Oh, there's so much. Like, I think this game is 4 games in one.
Yes.
Literally, Pikmin 1, 2, 3, and 4.
It is literally
all
Pikmin
of them.
4.
All of them. Pikmin 4 of them.
And Pikmin 4 of them.
That's what it should be called. Pikmin 4
no,
of them.
I'm sorry.
But I think, like, for me, I really hope with Pikmin 5, we have the pattern. Pikmin 1 is a creepy Pikmin game. Pikmin 2 is a wet Pikmin game. Pikmin 3 is back to a creepy Pikmin game.
Is it though?
Pikmin 4
it's not really.
It's a wet Pikmin game. It's a creepy wet meme.
Yeah, okay. I don't understand.
I think with Pikmin 5, I really hope they're like, no caves.
Yeah.
Something else. Something
Don't do the
else. I really want them
Honestly,
to be
that's my
adamant that there is no set formula here. There's no set way for Pikmin to be.
Because I like that they are different
Because if
from each other.
Pikmin 5 is more like Pikmin 4, the series is locked down a path.
Yeah.
And then it is like, okay, that's what we're doing now.
I'm probably out.
This is why you love Hey Pikmin.
Yeah.
It is so different. It is
Look,
so refreshing
look, the
to
thing
play
is-
a Pikmin
wait.
game that's different.
I'm just gonna say, what I like about Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 in particular is that they're very different from
They're
each
very
other.
different.
Even though they share similarities and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But
Pikmin 3 only
4
looks like Pikmin 1 in hindsight, with Pikmin 4 looking like Pikmin 2.
Exactly, but Pikmin 4, I feel, almost feels a bit too much like the other ones.
Yeah.
You know, it's an amalgamation of all the best bits, basically, in quotation
Yeah.
marks. And I'm like, I'm not big on the, like I said, I'm not big on the fucking holes, the caves.
Yeah.
And there is just so much of that stuff. And when you then, like me, playing Hey Pikmin, I think that's a good game. And honestly, I don't care what you think. I think people were excessively harsh on that game because, like, we started this video, this whole discussion on, was how fans have been in the thought process that their franchise is so forgotten and underappreciated that when Hey Pikmin came out, they thought that this was the end of it, that this is the last hope. Like, this is them trying for the last time. No, it wasn't. It was a spin-off of one of the most, like, re-released and like, I think,
Well kept.
well-kept fucking Nintendo series ever. Hey Pikmin is just a fun little spin-off. And I think, from the perspective of that game being different, I like that one a lot. And I think playing Pikmin 4, I might like it even more.
Yeah.
Because, like, honestly, that game, especially, one thing, it has new creatures. Like, so many new creatures. There, like, there's little baby bread bugs that are called, like, something like
Did
fucking...
Naoto Shima design the
I
characters?
don't
in that one?
know. But the thing is
He
that
worked on that one.
there's some-
Naoto Shima always delivers.
There's some weird bird creature in that one with 2 legs that walks around and it's too big, so it's on both
Yeah,
screens.
that's
And
great.
it's like,
They
and
really
then it turns
emphasized the
around like,
verticality in
like,
that game.
it's so cool. Like, I love that game.
That's a nice game. I like that game. It's a good game.
And I just think, like, that one also brings back creatures. But one thing I was surprised about is that Pikmin 4 doesn't bring back any of the Hey Pikmin ones. And I'm like, dude, you had them on a silver platter right there. There's a bunch of new creatures that no one saw because he didn't play Hey Pikmin.
That's weird, yeah. I never
Instead,
thought about
we bring
that.
back the bread bugs again. And they're exactly the same like they've always been. And yeah, we love the bread bugs, but maybe they could do something new.
They can do a flip.
Yeah, what?
Have
why
them do a
not?
flip.
Have the bread bugs become bigger as they eat more stuff.
What about if they're bread bugs, baguette bugs,
Yeah.
a really,
Really
long
long
boy?
one.
You just do shit like that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see it come around the corner. Like you set the level up so that you see like one coming out, like that's the bread bug, and like, oh wait, why does it keep going? Oh no, why is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Do it like that.
Like, it's just,
The surprise this. You surprise me, please, Nintendo.
that's just what I want, I think. I
And I
want to be
think-
surprised.
I think.
I want to, because, like, while this game, like, once again, I feel like I need to iterate it because someone will comment and, like, think that we hate this game. But, like, for how much, like, Pikmin 4 is excessively polished. It has a lot of things to do. It is massive. It's a great game.
It is too good.
No, no, but it's really good. Like, it has all the stuff that you like from Pikmin, right?
Yeah.
It has all the stuff you like from Pikmin, and it's like it's polished. It has fixed a lot of problems, quote unquote. Like, a lot of the things have been smoothed out.
Yeah.
And now it's really nice to play it. But
It looks
No,
at
no, but-
games
no,
like
wait.
Pikmin as a series of processes that need to be like smoothed out and like just kind of
you didn't let me finish.
made more.
Look at her. Listen to her.
Whatever.
Thing is, what I was gonna fucking say is that I think
talking now?
despite all of that, I just think this one is such an iteration that it just kind of feels the same. I am not surprised by this game. It's more of a look. it's the thing I remember.
Yeah.
And I don't find that to be particularly interesting when it comes to Pikmin. It is really good. It's well made, polished, finely tuned. It is a well-oiled machine. It is the Pikmin games of Pikmin games, basically. But it is so much a Pikmin game that there is nothing in here that I'm like, whoa. Wow.
That's not usual in a Pikmin game.
Like the biggest thing there is fucking Ochi. Thank you. You gave me
Ochi's good.
Good thing.
But you cannot forget Ochi because he's taken too much for granted.
He's a little boy.
He's a little boy. But I know one surprise in this game.
Yeah.
That really got you. GameCube.
Oh my god, yes. Oh, I was gonna say, okay, so, as usual, they're Nintendo treasures, right? So one of them is a wave bird. The second one,
Wave Race.
Wave
the
Race.
game.
The game. The
Nice.
classic GameCube game. Wave Race Blue Storm. Japanese copy. Nice, pristine.
Only
has
real
been in a
motherfuckers will know.
A deep cut. Good one. I love that. We have it in our fucking shelf.
Of course we have
Of
Wave
course
Race.
we have Wave Race.
You don't
Blue
have
Storm.
Wave Race? Fucking sell your Pikmin 4 copy and
Yeah.
get Wave Race.
Fucking nerd. And like it has some other things. And then I'm like, GameCube. A GameCube has to be the last treasure. Or like at least one of them. One of the Nintendo treasures. And it's like,
You're entering the final cave.
You're entering
There's
the
one
final cave.
empty spot.
there's one empty spot.
On
We're
the
entering the
Nintendo
last
treasures thing.
fucking... We're entering the last cave.
And you're looking at that, you're like, that has to be the GameCube.
has to be the
You were
GameCube.
almost making up like, what if there's like a boss that is the GameCube and like one
Yeah.
of those spiders or something, and like
That's too much
you're
to
like
expect.
You're having so much. You're like, oh, I can't wait to see the GameCube for some reason.
No,
you're
and I
really,
told you.
like sold, and I told you that like, wait, there's like one that's a Joy-Con. So it's probably the other Joy-Con, and you're like, no. Don't say
No,
that.
I said, if there isn't a GameCube and that's the thing, then it's a 0 out of 10. Like, instantly. And she was right.
I was correct.
It was the
In
fucking...
the final cave.
the-
In the room with the fucking double water roller boy. What do we have here?
Second
A
Joy-Con.
red Joy-Con.
Fuck you. Fuck off. Like, I was so annoyed. Because, like, you know, there aren't enough treasures that are really big. You know, I want treasures that are huge. That you have to have a lot of Pikmin to pick up. Because that's fun.
In fact, that would be perfect for that room because you need purple Pikmin in that room.
Yes. And then you would need like 500 Pikmin to pick it up.
Grab 100. 100 Pikmin. No, 128. They could have done a GameCube in this game, but it didn't, so it's garbage. This
It is
game
garbage.
fucking sucks. It's the worst
has
game
so
I've ever
much
played.
reverence.
What is the score? 0 out of 10, because no GameCube. If they had a GameCube, maybe it would be a 7 out of 10.
Like,
We don't do scores. These scores are not real. Never ever quote us on this. Transparency. If transparency gives you scores, it's not transparency.
It's a
We have
lie.
been possessed by fucking the ghost
Yeah.
of someone.
one thing you need to know about us is that we dismiss scores.
Don't do them.
No, not even, no,
Scores
none of them.
are a distraction.
Yeah, from the real.
We have talked for over 1.5 hours here. Do you really think you can put that into a number? Come
No.
on, dude.
Also,
The
this
human
one.
spirit is larger than the number can contain. It is boundless, never ending.
Also, this game is a bit too, I think, all over the place for me to score it in any IGN kind of sense, where it would be like, oh, you know, it's, you know, me saying like, I've told you several times now, this game is polished to a perfect sheen.
I can tell
It
you
is
this. at least.
amazing.
I don't
and
know.
then and then it's like, but on the side I'm like, but also it fucking sucks. No.
The funny part about it, like, I don't know what I would, like, if I had, like, my job was IGN reviewer and I had to do it, I can tell you at least this. It wouldn't be a 10. And in fact, I think whatever I would give, people would be upset.
Yeah, for sure. But also, the thing is that my opinion on this is like yin and yang. You can't really put like there's equal evil as there are good, so you can't like put it in a score. Even if you were like, ever put it in 55, then no, it's not. It's not a fucking mediocre game. What are you talking about?
Pikmin franchise has been balanced. There are 2 good games and 2 bad ones.
And hey, Pikmin.
Hey, Pikmin. But Pikmin Bloom. I've never played Pikmin Bloom. Is that bad?
Bloom.
Piplup Bloom. I think we're fucking done.
No, but honestly, I'm gonna be real though.
Yeah.
Really good game.
Great game.
Great
you
game.
should buy it. You know what? In fact, you know what? I think, here's my hot take to end this on. This game, Pikmin 4, is a better game that I would recommend more to someone than Tears of the Kingdom. And I'll leave it at that.
Sure.
I will not elaborate on that. But maybe you can watch the Tears of the Kingdom one. Maybe it's on screen right now. Oh shit, you can click it. Click that shit. Why don't... Oh, you didn't click it. It's gone now.
Am I not allowed to say anything at the end? Like, you're just gonna put this here? Okay, then. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm gonna have a hot take, though. Hey, Pikmin is better than Pikmin 4. Haha. Bye-bye.